with registration available through williamsonoma.com.
And that's all for today's ride through the most unpredictable state in the country, where the beaches are beautiful, the roads are confusing, and the people from here who are absolute icons. We'll catch you next time on Fun Jersey, and make sure you take the jug handle instead of turning left. And don't forget, if you ever miss an episode of Fun Jersey, you can listen to every report on demand at 1077thebronx.com/Fun Jersey. Now, here's more of the biggest hits and the best variety only on 1077 The Bronx.
1077 The Bronx and 1077thebronx.com, winner of 3 2026 Intercollegiate Broadcasting System Media Awards for Best On-Air Pledge Drive for our first ever radiothon, Best Giveaway for Wake Up Riders Morning Bagel Run and Jewelry Spree, and Best Station Poster by Jake Goebel for Scream Screen. This is High Stakes, and this is Nolan McCaffrey on our last edition of High Stakes for the semester, May 2nd, 2026, and this very interesting day as we have the NBA playoffs coming around. Got the Game 7 between the Sixers and Celtics. We have the NHL, not the Devils. I wish the Devils, but the Flyers facing off against the Hurricanes in Game 1, and obviously the Kentucky Derby for those who care about that. But obviously, since it's the last episode of our semester, I would say, I had to bring in a guest here. John, welcome.
Well, thank you, Nolan, for having me on, especially for the last episode of the academic year and of the spring semester. Of course, it's a good time. It's a good time for sports. It's a good time just for everything in general. I wish the weather would get better right here in South Jersey with its unpredictable winds, especially earlier when we were broadcasting. But it was, it's something else. But yeah, time to take a look at the NBA, NHL. Take it away.
Absolutely. Let's first start off with the NBA as the 76ers going up against the Celtics in Game 7 in the first round in Boston. Right now, the Sixers have a 70-62 lead with 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. And, this is if the Sixers can pull this off, I would think is one of the biggest upsets in recent NBA history. Celtics were up 3-1. Game 5 kind of, they definitely... were in control, it seemed like, especially in the first half, Boston, but just couldn't get it done. The Sixers got that comeback win in Game 5. They won Game 6 a few nights ago, and right now they're looking pretty good in Game 7.
Yeah, they are up 70-63, like you said, Nolan. And honestly, this is one of those games. Like I said, it's Game 7. It's ride or die, no matter what. With the Sixers here, this would be a huge upset, like you said. Really, I did not think this series is going to go to 7 games. I thought by now the Celtics would have eliminated the Sixers in 5. I really did not expect it to go this far, and especially with a Philly team that has been very inconsistent throughout the regular season, I did not see them making it this far. But this is a series where you have problems to address if you're the Sixers because you have expectations. If you lose Game 7, you have to go right into the offseason and think about it. So they're not going to take just a hard-fought battle against the Celtics just to come up short. They're going to play because they know that window is closing, especially with Joel Embiid not being as healthy. But we have seen as the series, Nolan, that when Embiid is healthy, Sixers are unstoppable.
Absolutely. And I was obviously on your show last night, and I said that we have, as an NBA fan base, we have forgotten about how good Joel Embiid is when he's healthy. Right now, having a terrific game, 24 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists in just the midway through the third quarter. 9 of 16 from the field, 6 of 8 from the free throw line. He's a plus 14. Maxey right now shooting very efficiently, 7 of 11, 2 for 4 from 3-point range with 7 assists. He also has 16 points. And then obviously the rookie VJ Edgecombe has 15 points and 3 3-pointers. Right now it's looking good for the Sixers as they have a 9-point lead. Celtics wise, they don't have Jason Tatum tonight. He's out with an injury, which is that the injury is pretty serious when he's out playing in a Game 7.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, that's 100%. And especially with the injury problems that Jason Tatum has gone throughout his career, you would not think that, like you said, for a Game 7, he'd be willing to play with a broken bone for all we know. But this injury obviously is a lot more serious in terms of it, to be missing arguably the biggest game of his life. Well, except for when he won the finals. But the biggest game so far this year, no doubt about it.
Absolutely, and you look at the splits right now for the two teams. Sixers right now shooting 52% from the field, which is terrific. Celtics only shooting 40%, 30% from three-point range, and that's what the Celtics do. They shoot threes, but right now, not a lot of them are going down for the Celtics. They've only hit 9 out of 30. As the Sixers now have an 11-point lead, it's getting nerve-wracking. If I was a Celtic fan, I'd be pretty nervous right now. I have to say.
Yeah, I don't think it's panic time just yet, but I am starting to get
close.
We're getting
close.
Where they're not. They have to close that gap a little bit. If you go on a bit of a run at the end of the third, maybe.
In the NBA, it is so important how you end quarters. Like right now, there's 5 minutes to go. If the Celtics can win this 5-minute stretch, 15-9. Which isn't like crazy. That 11-point lead is now a 5-point lead for the Sixers going into the fourth quarter, and it changes the whole entire game. If the Sixers win the next 4.5 minutes, 15-9, they now have a 17-point lead. It's just how you end quarters is so important in the NBA. And right now the Celtics, and I agree, it's not panic time just yet, but for a team that had a 3-1 lead, and you look up Game 7 on your home floor, and you're facing an 11-point deficit with 4.5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. It's without your best player, arguably, in Jason Tatum. It's not looking good right now for Boston.
No, it's not really, and momentum's a funny thing, and that's why with the just in terms of quarters, like you said, finishing them is absolutely crucial. And really, this is where really, I know it'd be a funny concept here, but this is where media timeouts really play to your full advantage, because you could take a quote unquote timeout, even though it's media, and you could come together with that game plan, like you said, Nolan, trying to win the final 4 to 5 minutes of the quarter and really taking it from there. But Boston, they got time. They can do it, but it's
go
rough.
time though. It's
yeah,
go
they
time
have
now.
to.
They gotta come out. It's probably a timeout right now because we haven't seen any change in the score. So when they come out of this timeout, they're gonna have to get going a run here.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But we'll definitely keep the audience in tune to that throughout the next 45 minutes we got, because and this is a big thing for the Knicks as well. If I'm a Knicks fan, I'm really happy with this result. Obviously, the 76ers are a good team, but if the Sixers win, the Knicks have home court advantage in the second round, and the Knicks absolutely destroyed the Atlanta Hawks on, I believe, Thursday night. Just absolutely destroyed them. We're up at 1 point 72-22 in the second quarter. I mean, that's as big of a lead as I've ever seen, especially in a playoff game. And again, listen, I think the Knicks right now, although they beat the Celtics last year, I just feel like and I'm not a Knicks fan, but I'd rather see the Sixers play in the second round than the Celtics.
Yeah, I'd say so, just because they're more hungry. And also, you get that Philly-New York rivalry kind of deal. You get Knicks fans invading Xfinity Mobile Arena.
I don't know about
and I don't know if the Sixers will do the same thing, because quite frankly, I feel like the Knicks,
honestly,
that's their better fan base.
I don't think the Knicks fans would do that this year, because when it happened, I remember when it happened in Game 4 of the first round series in 2024, it was like a big uproar in Philadelphia. And then when they came back in Game 6, where the Knicks eventually clinched the series that year, it wasn't the case that the Knicks took it over. Where they kind of and you see this in baseball sometimes, where they don't sell tickets to people from New York, from and I think that's a little ridiculous, but it's kind of an easy easy travel from New York to Philadelphia. Go on an Amtrak train and you're right there.
Yeah, that's.
But I don't see that happening if those two teams were to play. But obviously it would really kind of start up that Philadelphia-New York rivalry that we see in football and baseball and even in hockey to a certain extent.
Yeah, we shall see. I mean, really, it'll be very interesting to see if the Sixers move on. I agree, though. That is ridiculous that they
the Yankees did that last year again when they played the Red Sox.
Yeah,
they did that last year.
And that's my
yeah.
team. And I hate that we did that.
No,
It
I
was-
know, yeah. No, I get it, and especially when you're the Yankees. I mean, are you really worried about Red Sox fans coming in the Yankee Stadium and taking it over?
Just
I mean,
stop
I would understand like if it was like the Tampa Bay Rays or something like that, and they were playing the Yankees in a playoff series, because there's a lot of Yankee fans in Florida in the Tampa Bay region. I could see that in a way. But for the Yankees, I don't know. Like they're as popular a team as there is in North American sports.
Yeah,
maybe the most.
It's a typical saga. New Yorkers flocking down to Florida after retirement. So you got a lot of Yankee fans down there. But yeah, either way, no matter what the sport is, no matter the city, I don't agree with it. I just more revenue, in my opinion. It's actually worse if you do that, because if you get more fans, no matter the opposition, the same venue's getting paid. So
Absolutely. And before we move on to hockey, we'll talk a little bit about the Flyers and all that. I want to go over some crazy games yesterday. Let's first start off with the Pistons and the Magic. I was on your show last night, and I made a note at this at halftime when we were on the air that the Magic was up 60-38, I believe, at halftime. The Magic in the second half, I think, shot 4 of 37 in the second half and scored. I can't believe this is. It's for an NBA team. It's insane. They scored 19 points in the second half. Third quarter they scored 11. In the fourth quarter they scored 8 points.
Jeez.
The Pistons, who were down 22 points at the end of the second quarter, won the game by 14 points. That's a 36-point swing in one quarter, and in one half.
Yeah.
With your season on the line, the Magic, if they played beyond awful, if they just played bad in the second half, they probably still win the game.
yeah, they'd still find
They
a way to
played
do
as
it.
bad, as awfully as I've ever seen an NBA team ever play, and in a closeout Game 6 on your home court. I understand you're an 8 seed and the Pistons are a 1 seed, but you had them on the ropes. I mean, that's as disgraceful of a loss as I've ever seen from a playoff team.
Yeah, and it sucks because they're the 8th seed. Like they're quite literally the 8th seed. And we were talking about it just in general with the Sixers being the underdog, and everybody was rooting for them when they came out swinging against Detroit. But now you see them just lose embarrassingly. Don't be surprised, Nolan, if when the Pistons play the Magic tomorrow, I believe it's 3:30 p.m. At Little Caesars Arena, when they go to Motown, don't be surprised if the Pistons just absolutely destroy them.
It's funny. I was thinking about this today, and I think you're right. If I had to put money on it, I think the Pistons are going to win tomorrow. I think they're going to win pretty easily. But something in the back of my head, I'm like, it would be so crazy, so like this series, Pistons Magic, has been so weird on so many levels, because you barely ever see an 8th seed take the 1 seed to a 7 games.
Yeah.
But like, it would not surprise me if somehow, after all that happened yesterday, where the Magic, put together an all-time choke job, because that's what it was. Let's be honest here. It would not surprise me if they win tomorrow. It really wouldn't. Like, it's like. I think you're right, where it's like, yeah, if you're looking at it logically, the Pistons should win, but like I could see that, like, the Magic, because I don't think, like, I know the Pistons won 60 games. They're a young team. I don't know if they're quite ready just yet to be that championship contending team. Just you know what I mean?
No, I know what you mean. And like I said, point being, it's a 7-game series. Both teams have won 3 games. Quite literally anything could happen, and I'd be very curious to see, especially now that it's at Detroit.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we'll see what happens tomorrow with that Game 7. Another Game 7 tomorrow. Raptors and Cavs, and this was a great game last night.
Yeah.
RJ Barrett. It's funny. I don't know if you know this, John. The Kawhi Leonard shot against Philadelphia about like 6-7 years ago.
Yeah.
In 2019, where it hit the rim like 5 times
Is
and all
this
that.
the dagger?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what's. I think the Raptors arena is Scotiabank Arena, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I don't know what's in the air over there, but I don't know if you saw RJ Barrett's game-winning 3. It bounced. It hit the back rim. Okay. Just to add some background story. The Raptors were down 110-109. Okay, this is the season on the line. This is their last shot. with about 5 seconds to go, and Barrett takes a three-pointer from the top of the key to win the game, pretty much. And it hits the back rim. And when it hit the back rim, I'm like, okay, yeah, this game's over. He missed it. It bounced up, I have to say, 8 to 10 feet in the air, okay, off the back rim, and it sank all the way down to the bottom of the net. I don't know if you've seen that highlight or anything.
I have seen that, and I wasn't even thinking about Kawhi Leonard's shot. I was thinking of Halliburton's shot last year.
True.
That's what really, that's what really rung the bell in my opinion. And like I saw, like Barnett and Halliburton, and it was the memes on social media were absolutely hilarious seeing that.
No, I mean, you look at the statistics yesterday. Scotty Barnes had a very good game, 25 points and 14 assists. I mean, that's as good of an offensive game as you could have with 3 steals and 3 blocks. Barrett, like I said, at 24 points, 9 rebounds. Jacoby Walter at 24 points, very efficiently shot 7 of 13. On the Cleveland side, Mitchell, scored 24 points, but it took him 26 shots to get that. You would like to see some better efficiency. He only had 2 assists. Harden had 16, had 9 assists and 9 rebounds, but shooting 5 of 14 is just not going to get it done. And let's be honest, and Mel Mobley had a good game with 26 points and 14 rebounds. He played well yesterday, but looking at it tomorrow, Cleveland's at home, and I think that Cleveland is the better team, to be honest with you. But, and I've said this before, all the pressure is going to be on Cleveland tomorrow because they're the better team. If the Raptors lose, it's tough in the moment, but, they're a young team. They weren't really supposed to be here. You can live with it. Cleveland has finals aspirations, especially with the Pistons showing some vulnerability. Vulnerability, yeah. With the Pistons, even if they win tomorrow, they're no world beaters in itself. There's an opportunity where Cleveland can really get to the finals, especially the Eastern Conference Finals, if they win this Game 7. And it just comes down to now where all the pressure is going to be on Donovan Mitchell and especially James Harden. And when you look at their playoff histories, they haven't come up big a lot of times in these kind of moments.
Yeah, and you looked at that, and really you called it yesterday on my show about how you were a little skeptical about James Harden, and his 5 of 14 performance kind of proves dividends there, really.
And listen, I mean, that was not a good performance yesterday, but listen, Harden's had 15 other playoff performances worse than this one, which kind of just shows, how bad he's played. And that's why if you're a Cleveland fan, you got to be a little nervous about tomorrow because, would it surprise anyone if Harden puts together an 8-point stinker? No,
yeah.
No one would be surprised by that given his history, No,
absolutely. And really be interested to see, like I said.
Absolutely. So when we come back from break, we're going to talk a little bit about some Flyers in the NHL. We'll talk some baseball as well as we might talk a little bit about the FIFA World Cup as, quick note, after the end of the third quarter, Sixers are up 88-75 over the Celtics. So Philadelphia 1 quarter away from punching their ticket to the second round. We'll keep everyone in tune with what's going to go on with the fourth quarter in Boston, and we'll be here for it.
Upset incoming alert. Gotta hold on, Philly.
107.7 The Bronx has very exciting news. Our new video stream is officially live. Now you can listen to The Bronx on air, online, and on the app now to watch your favorite student shows live on The Bronx YouTube channel and Facebook at 107.7 The Bronx, including What's Next Sports, Talk of the Town Sports, Bronx After Hours, The Comcast, Cliff Notes, and Wake Up Rider. Keep it tuned to The Bronx to listen and to watch your favorite student shows. We'll be back with more high stakes after these underwriting announcements under 3-time 2026 Intercollegiate Broadcasting Systems Media Award winner, 107.7 The Bronx. Like and follow The Bronx on Instagram at 107.7 The Bronx and on TikTok at 107.7 The Bronx WRRC.
Do you wake up and feel like your mornings are just missing something? Certainly nothing worse than your coffee just not hitting the same.
Grandma can't win for me.
Oh, man.
There's no purchase necessary to play any of our on-air, on-site, or online contests and promotions. Good thing, because I'm broke as hell. Prizes are restricted to one prize per household within a 30-day period. Additional rules may apply.
Rules are rules.
Go to 1077thebronx.com and click on the contest tab for more rules and information, or stop by our studios, room 207 on the second floor, Fine Arts at Rider University, 2083 Lawrenceville Road, Lawrenceville, New Jersey. Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. If you come by after midnight, please bring pizza. They haven't fed me in 17 years.
With over 75,000, with over 750,000 views in the last 90 days, our social media is popping. Be a part of the trend. Follow 1077 The Bronx to see what we're up to on air and behind the scenes on Instagram at 1077 The Bronx and on TikTok at 1077 The Bronx WRRC. After you follow The Bronx on social media, support The Bronx on and off campus. Gear up for summer by shopping the Bronx General Store. From short sleeve tees and polos to insulated drinkware for your Akai refresher, go to 1077thebronx.com/shopthebronx to make your campus fashion statement. Welcome back to High Stakes on your 5-time National Association of Broadcasters Marconi Radio Award nominated station, 1077 The Bronx. All right. In this little second segment of the show, our final show here in this semester, let's talk a little bit. Let's start off with some hockey, as the Philadelphia Flyers, after they got a great overtime win against the Penguins earlier this week with Cam York putting in the final goal to win the series 4-2. They're going up against the Carolina Hurricanes in Game 1 and not looking too good right now. The Flyers are down 2-0 in the second period. What have you seen so far, John?
Well, so far, this is pretty much the typical standard for Carolina hockey in the playoffs. Always starting. I can't remember the last time when the Hurricanes start off a series on home ice that they don't get the first goal. It's pretty much a guarantee that the Hurricanes, if I had $1 for every time the Hurricanes scored the first goal of a series when they had home ice advantage, I'd be pretty rich, because the Hurricanes have been doing that ever since 2019. And so scoring 2 goals, I think that first period, from what I'm seeing, the second period is very tight, which is to be expected with a red hot Flyers team and a good Hurricanes team. But the first period right there, what you saw was a Flyers team that's a little inexperienced with the playoffs, still trying to get the groove going. With the Hurricanes, you got them at home. And I mentioned this last night, playing as an away team at Carolina is a very raucous atmosphere for any opposition coming to PNC Arena. I think I could see Carolina winning this just for the sake of having momentum and being at home. But don't be surprised if the Flyers make a run out of it. And you saw them do it at Pittsburgh last week. They could take a big lead in the series. That'll be huge going forward.
Absolutely. You know, you look at the other games, especially last night with the Sabres defeating the Bruins and winning the first round series, the Lightning getting a 1-0 lead to force a Game 7, and the Golden Knights defeating the Mammoth 5-1 to win the series. You know, you saw those 3 games. What do you make of those 3 games? All
right, well, talk about the Lightning and the Canadiens. This was a absolute battle. I mean, this is arguably the most evenly played game out of almost every game so far. Lightning with a 1-0 OT win. Like I said, game could have gone either way. Now Game 7 tomorrow at 6 p.m. The Sabres defeating the Bruins. I had doubts for the Sabres just because of their inexperience in the playoffs, but they have proved me wrong. They are now moving on to the playoffs for the first time since I was born in 2007. And now the Golden Knights taking on the Mammoth right over there. And I think with the Golden Knights defeating the Mammoth 5-1 last night, that was truly based off of the momentum that they had with their Game 5 win. Because keep in mind, Nolan, they won Game 5 in double OT. And I think that really killed the Mammoth because they looked just flat that entire game. And that was not your typical Utah hockey you've seen throughout the remainder of the series. So with that being said, Golden Knights are moving on, and then Game 7 tomorrow, Canadiens Lightning. I'm looking forward to that one.
No doubt. And it's good that we got our hockey talk, everything.
I try.
I'm just playing. I have to say I was very impressed by the Flyers, kind of just how they've responded. They didn't get off to a good start this year. They got hot late. And obviously they're losing right now, but you know, you got to be proud. If you're a Flyer fan, you got to be proud of this team. And even if they lose this second round series to Carolina, you know, you have to be happy with this.
Yeah, and you're playing with no pressure, like you said, and really that's going to be the key going forward for the Flyers. And that lack of pressure right there will really set the tone throughout the series, especially if they could claw closer.
Quick check on the Sixers and Celtics game. The Celtics making it a little closer here. We got 9 minutes, 22 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Sixers lead is now cut to just 6 points, 90-84. The Celtics right now in the fourth quarter outscoring the Sixers 9-2 so far in the first 2.5 minutes. So, they're not going down without a fight.
Oh yeah, no, they definitely. I'm pretty sure they got a. Oh, you don't go to the locker room in between the third and the fourth quarter, but I'm pretty sure they had a discussion, to say the least, on the sideline, really just to get their heads back into it. And they didn't really finish the third quarter off, like you said, and I think that the Celtics are just carrying their own momentum. 9-2 run, as we can see. Well, anybody's game. You got yourself a ball game right now.
Let's move over to some baseball here. Let's talk a little bit about the local teams. The Phillies get one hit by the Marlins this afternoon. It snaps, I believe, a 4-game losing streak. I mean, you're going to lose games, so you don't mind it after a 4-game winning streak. But a great performance from Max Meyer, 7 innings, only 1 hit, 7 strikeouts. Anthony Bender and Andrew Nardi comes in relief, scoreless innings as they win 4-0. The Phillies obviously made news earlier this week, firing Rob Thompson, promoting Don Mattingly as their manager, and so far looking pretty good, 4-1.
Yeah, I wouldn't really necessarily. Philly fans are going to hop on the Phillies all the time just because of how bad they've started this season. But keep in mind, this is the first loss with Don Mattingly as the manager of the team. I'm pretty sure the Phillies will be just fine. They'll win tomorrow and take the series, and they'll play consistent baseball. They're going to lose games. Like, this won't be the only loss of the season under Mattingly. But we'll see. I mean, really, it's just a game where the Phillies just looked flat. It was an off day. Let's just say that. Nothing. This is typical to happen in the sport of baseball. 90% mental.
Yankees win again, 9-4 over the Orioles. They take the first 2 games of the 3-game set. They got the finale tomorrow. Yankees right now 22-11, best record in the American League. And as a Yankee fan, I keep saying this, that they're the best team in the American League, and I don't even think it's really that close. Obviously, playoffs are a different animal. And maybe a hot team, a wild card team that gets hot at the right time, maybe eliminates them. But talent-wise, production-wise, right now I think the Yankees are just in a class of themselves in the American League.
Well, you got to take advantage now, because especially with teams in the AL East like the Red Sox and the Blue Jays kind of tripping over themselves a little bit, you really have to pounce on the opportunity to make up ground in the American League. And, in this game, Cody Bellinger had himself a day, 4 for 4 on the afternoon, including a couple of home runs. I love Bellinger, man. I am so glad we brought him back. It's really cool to see.
No, he's a baseball player, and I think that's as good of a compliment, as in my opinion, as good of a compliment as you could give a player. He's a baseball player.
Yep.
He's a guy that every team would want a Cody Bellinger on their team. Trent Grisham, he's been struggling lately to start the year. Had a good game, 2 for 4 with a home run. Judge only had no hits on the day, but did have 2 walks. Ben Rice, who is just hitting out of the world so far in this season. For his standards, a pedestrian game, going 1 for 3 with 2 walks. But
that one hit was a home run, I'm pretty sure. It's by Rice. Or no, I'm not thinking that. Nope.
That was yesterday.
I'm getting my games mixed up. But regardless, yeah, still got a hit in that game. He's really doing well.
No doubt. I mean, he's looking good. On the other side, Pete Alonso had a home run. He had a home run as well on Friday night. So first 2 games back in New York, obviously not with the Mets, but in the Bronx, have each resulted in a home run in each game. So Alonso, who has been kind of struggling in the early part of the season for Baltimore, maybe this is a sign of him getting hot, which we know. And as I'm a Met fan, I watched Alonso a lot. he's the prototypical streaky hitter where he can go through a month where he looks really bad at the plate. He's striking out on pitches well out of the strike zone and all that. He's just not producing. But then he goes on a 3-4 week stretch where you look at him and it's like, is this one of the top 5 hitters in baseball? He's really that good. And with 2 home runs in his last 2 games, Baltimore fans got to be hoping that that kind of stretch from Alonso is coming pretty soon.
Yeah. You better hope so too if you're a Baltimore fan, really.
Oh yeah,
And
15 and 18, not doing so well in the division. As you look at the MLB standings right now, Tampa Bay is playing pretty well too. And I always say this about Tampa Bay: they don't have the best talent in the world. They don't have these name brand players like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. or Alonso or obviously Judge, and even a Roman Anthony to a certain extent. But they always find a way to be good. Whether they win the division or win 80 games or whatever the case may be, they're always respectable. And right now, they're more than respectable. They're 20-12 on the season, a game and a half out of the Yankees for first place, but they've been playing really well.
Yeah, and they play together as a team, and they do with a much lower payroll than some of these teams like both of ours, Yankees, Mets, Dodgers, Phillies, and really just they're not a big market team. I don't think they'll ever be a big market team, but they're playing well. It's like money doesn't matter when you got a team that can play.
It's funny about the American League. So Yankees and Rays have very good records, 22-11 and 20-12 for the Rays. In the American League Central, there's only one team with a over 500 record. That's the Guardians at 18-16. And in the American League West, there's only one team, and that's the Athletics at 17-16. There is only a whopping 4 teams in the American League that have an above 500 record, which is absolutely insane. And if you compare that to the National League, let me do the math here. That's 8 teams in the National League with an above 500 record. So you kind of see the difference between the 2 leagues,
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, if it keeps up like this throughout the rest of the season, whoever makes it to the World Series as the American League team, they're going to have a rough time facing whoever they face in the National League. It might be the Dodgers because it's the MLB, but who knows?
Well, I'll say is the Dodgers aren't playing too well right now. They're 4-6 in their last 10. Still have a very good record at 20-12. But they only lead the division by a half a game. Mm-hmm. And right now, I believe they're losing to the Cardinals, if I'm not mistaken. I know, 3-0 to the Cardinals at the top of the 9th inning. So it's looking like they're going to lose this game. So, again, I always say this, and this is, and you always hear this, that, the Dodgers are so much better than everyone. They're going to win the World Series easily. That's not entirely the case. Yes, they have the most talent on any team. Nobody's disputing that. But if you look at, especially last year, let's be honest here, they should have lost to the Blue Jays. They should have lost to them. I mean, let's be honest here. And then the year before, the Padres had them on the run. They were up 2-1 with Game 4 in San Diego in the divisional round of the playoffs. So, listen, would it surprise me if the Dodgers win the World Series? No. Are they the favorite? Yes. Are they the overwhelming favorite? Yes. But it's not like it's a foregone conclusion that they're winning the World Series. I mean, that's not baseball. You look at the National League. Look at the Braves at 23-10. They're playing terrifically.
Yeah, and the Braves were a team that eliminated the Dodgers. You go back to 2021 when they went on their World Series run. And so they're a team that has the potential to beat LA, and so, hey, you may see it again.
Chicago's played well as well, 21-12. Reds 20-13. I mentioned the Padres.
If you go back up, I'm really shocked by the way the Cardinals are playing.
No,
they're hanging in there.
Because the Cardinals, what's funny about the Cardinals, I used to be, and I don't want to go into this, but I used to be a Cardinal fan when I was like really young, okay? Really young, I used to be. Because I'll tell you why, because I was a young kid, 2013 World Series, they were playing the Red Sox in the World Series. Okay. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to pick one of these 2 teams to be my favorite team. Okay. And I'm like, I like this guy, Matt Holliday. I don't know if you know Matt Holliday.
Matt Holliday. Oh, my goodness. I remember Matt Holliday. Yankee legend in 2017.
Exactly, for the Yankees, played for the Cardinals a lot of years. I really liked him, so I'm like, all right, I'm going to be a Cardinal fan. I was a Cardinal fan for a couple years until the Mets made the World Series like 2015. That's where I'm like, all right, I'll be a Met fan the rest. Because the problem was I never got to see the Cardinals play because I'm in Connecticut. I mean, the only time I would see them play was if they were on ESPN, like Sunday Night Baseball. And that wasn't a whole lot during the season. Obviously, playoffs, and they made the playoffs in like 2014, 2013, 2015. I would see their games. But the Mets games, I would see every night. So I'm like, all right, I got to be a Met fan. But going back to what I was about to say, I still kind of look at the Cardinals a little bit because you can say they're my second favorite team, you know. It's a little bit of a gap between the Mets and Cardinals, but you know I still like to see how they're doing. The fans before the year, and it was like this last year, they were up in arms. Like they weren't buying tickets. They're still kind of not buying tickets. And if you were like when I watched them like 10 years ago, whatever the case be, they were always one of the teams with the highest attendances.
Yeah.
Because they have great fans. The stadium there is terrific. You see the St. Louis Arc kind of over it and all that.
Big Macland and left field. Like you just had a lot of amenities.
It's a beautiful, beautiful ballpark. But not many people were going because there weren't much expectations for the Cardinals. You know, especially the last couple years, ever since like Pujols and Wainwright and Molina retired, they haven't been a really good team. They're mad at ownership for not spending money. But so far, they're 19-13. You got to be happy with them, you know?
Yeah, you've seen the young core starting to emerge a little bit. And I think with the Cardinals, they had to get rid of pieces that were kind of floating a little bit. Let's be real with ourselves here. I love Nolan Arenado, but last season
he's been past his prime for a couple.
They
years
had to
now.
get rid of him, and they had to clear space so they can call up rookies.
Like 2 years ago,
and that they had to clear space for him. And now you got I was a little skeptical on them getting rid of Brandon Donovan, but it made sense to really clear cap space. Now you got guys really finding their hole. It used to be Donovan leading the way. Now Burleson's kind of taking the
Mason Wynn as well.
Mason Wynn, and how about JJ Weatherholt? He is having himself a good start to his rookie year. Well.
So,
then even getting rid of a player like Contreras to the Red Sox, you're still clearing up cap space, and the Cardinals are just kind of taking it and running with it. It's only a matter of time.
Let's quickly get to the Mets here, as they did get a very nice win last night. I was really impressed. I think every Met fan thought this. When they were down 3-0 in about the fourth inning, I'm like, yeah, there's no chance they're going to win that game. But they come back, had a nice comeback. Mauricio with a big home run. Again, here's the thing with the Mets. We kind of talked about it a lot last night, so I don't want to go too in depth here, but they got to start winning games. The season's not over in terms of record wise. I could look at a lot of teams that were 10 games below 500 and made the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know, the last year's Guardians, the Tigers in 2024, the 2018 Dodgers, the 2022 Mariners. There's a lot of teams. The 2019 Nationals are the most famous when they were 19-31 and they win the World Series. So the season is not over, but it's go time now. And the thing is that you look at about a week and a half ago, where they took 2 out of 3 from the Twins. First series back at home, and I thought, okay, maybe they got some momentum here. Let's see what they do now. And then they get swept by the Colorado Rockies the series after. That can't happen. You get a nice win last night. How about you parlay that into a 4-5 game winning streak, then lose a game, because you're going to lose a game, then win 3 more games or something like that. Get back in this race. You still got time, but you got to start performing right now. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, and I think their win that they got last night really was crucial because you start off a road trip with the right foot, and
it was a 9-game road trip.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a crucial road trip that could go either way, and I think, to your point, just starting it off on that right note can set the tone hypothetically for the rest of the way.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with the Mets this summer, as obviously this is the last show of the semester. I can only hope when I first show in September, and we're talking about a playoff chase for the Mets. I'm not too confident about it, but I can only hope. I can only hope we're talking, September 15th that the Mets are 2 games up in the wild card race. I mean, they got a lot of work to do, but we'll see what happens. Before we go to break, let's look at the Celtics here. Celtics, 1 point down, 95-94, 5 minutes and 20 seconds remaining against the 76ers. They're winning this fourth quarter 19-7. So this is going to be a big finish here.
I might just watch the game just to see during the next segment.
Hey, bro,
here.
I get it, man. I
might have to. This is coming out of the wire.
So yeah, so when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about that as well as some other stuff, and we'll say goodbye for the semester. We have a winner. The winner of 1077 The Bronx first ever Build the Ultimate Bronx Witch competition is Sergio Nino Vela and the Lomito. Insert applause here. Sergio scored the most votes at the Build the Bronx Ultimate Bronx Witch finale. In fact, Sergio scored 57% of the 700 votes to land the Lomito on the menu at Muller's Pub and Yuka's food trailer next semester. Plus the coveted Royal Caribbean cruise for 2 to the Bahamas from Josh Harry Travel and more prizes. Congrats to all of our Tasty 3 finalists, Jesse Doty, Caitlin Lawler, and of course Sergio Nino Vela, the winner of the Bronx first ever Build the Ultimate Bronx Witch. We'll be back with more high stakes after these underwriting announcements are the 3-time 2026 Intercollegiate Broadcasting Systems Media Award winner 1077 The Bronx.
Wake Up Riders Monday Morning Hangover is underwritten in part by McGuinn's Place.
Paellas are both flavorful and filling. This traditional Valenciana Bama rice dish features chicken, pork, shrimp, and portobello mushrooms. Prefer vegan? Then you prefer Mi España. They make a mean paella with just veggies. If you're looking for something to snack on, order tapas style. Enjoy tortilla jam-packed with potato, onions, and egg, or Mi España's warm and crispy empanadas filled with their beef, chicken, or veggies. There is so much Spanish food to discover and devour at Mi España. If you're looking to dine out, eat in the Mi España located in the Princeton Shopping Center, 301 North Harrison Street, Princeton. Takeout and delivery are also available. To view their menu and to see Chef Jose Diaz's daily and weekly specials, surf on over to getforky.com.
Mornings are always better when you tune into 107.7 The Bronx, two-time IBS Media Award-winning Best Morning Show Wake Up Rider, Monday through Friday from 8 to 10 a.m. Join Sophia, RJ, Ellis, Brian, Lathan, Brandon, and Sheer for 2 hours of fun and games, including the Monday Morning Hangover, underwritten by McGuinn's Place, and the all-new Morning Bagel Run and Jewelry Spree, underwritten by Caesar's Bagels and Deli, and Peroni's Hidden Treasures in Mercerville. Go to 1077thebronx.com/Wake Up Rider to listen live on air, online, and on the app to catch up on past episodes. Welcome back to High Stakes on the Princeton Review's 18th ranked best college radio station, 1077 The Bronx. All right, the final about 6-7 minutes that we have here.
Sorry, I'm too immature.
in the 9 o'clock hour. Let's talk about the World Cup, as the World Cup is going to be happening in about a month and a half here in the United States, as well as Canada and Mexico. Let's first start out with the USA, their group. This is a group that they can win this group. They're Group D. The other three teams are Paraguay, Austria, and Turkey. They can win this group. They're not bad teams, but this is a winnable group for the U.S. If you look at the FIFA rankings, the U.S. is ranked 15th in the world. And for them to make it out of group stage, and this is what group stage is, Group D, they need to get either first or second, and an outside chance if they get third in this group. So pretty much all they have to do is not finish last in this group to advance to pool play.
Yeah. That's all they have to do. And really, with Team USA, you have to look at them where you have your competition set in front of you. You don't necessarily have to. The one thing the USA cannot do is play down to your competition. You have to win the group no matter what. But let it be clear, the true test lies when you win the group and when you get past the group. Because with all due respect, the Team USA playing in anything, whether it's the Olympics or the World Cup or anything in that matter, they become a laughing stock if you don't win out or get eliminated. We saw that with Team USA almost happen in the World Baseball Classic of them almost not making it out of groups. We had to rely on another team. It's really, you have to focus on getting that win, and then the true challenge really steps out of your comfort zone when you move on.
Well, absolutely. In the U.S. national team for the men's side has not won a playoff game in the World Cup since 2002, which means they win the group, and then in the knockout round, they win one of those games. It's not happened since 2002. There's an outside chance they can do it this year, especially if they get a good draw in the knockout rounds. But that's really it for the U.S. Mark. If from the U.S. you got to get out of pool play. If you don't get out of pool play, it's a disaster, especially in your home with the World Cup in your home country. You got to get out of pool play. And if you do that, you at least can leave the World Cup with some dignity. And I think that's what they're going to do. I think they're playing better as of late. Last summer, this spring, so we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, it'll really be interesting to see. And I believe it's at MetLife Stadium, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
The finals at MetLife.
The finals, okay. But I can't wait to see that, because East Rutherford, New Jersey, you'll never see that many people go to New Jersey, willingly go to East Rutherford, New Jersey. Should be fun to see.
I want to talk a little bit of some other teams that I feel that are the contenders in this tournament. I want to first start out with England. England is funny, where they're kind of like, I don't want to say the Yankees, but they're kind of like a team that has a lot of talent, but they never get it done in the big spot. I don't know if you know these players, but like Saka, they have Harry Kane, Declan Rice. They have Erling Haaland. I don't think you know any of these players. That's fine, but they all play for England, and they're really good. But they just haven't got it done in the big spot. Portugal is a very good team. Obviously, they have Cristiano Ronaldo. He is 40 years old, but I still think he can make an impact in spurts. They have a very good midfield, especially with Bruno Fernandes. Argentina won it last time with Messi. I don't know if Argentina is going to win it again because they've gotten older. I don't really see the young talent there. France is to me probably my pick to win it. you look at the front three. When you have Dembele and Mbappe, that's as good as a front three as you can have. I mean, Dembele won the Ballon d'Or, which is pretty much the soccer MVP last year, and we obviously know what Mbappe is. Spain with Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal is one of the best players in the world. He's 18 years old. He plays for Barcelona. I mean, Germany's a good team. Brazil's always there. They got Vinicius. They have Neymar, even though he's not as good as he once was. So it's gonna be an interesting tournament, I have to say. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, I really am too. And my soccer knowledge may not be completely there, and especially in terms of players, but I'm looking forward to
it. When the World Cup is that they can bring in just the casual fan.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, you might not want to watch Premier League football. There's a big Premier League game, Manchester United against Liverpool tomorrow. You might not want to watch, La Liga or Champions League, but the World Cup is where everybody watches, and especially with it being in the U.S. I mean, it's going to be very popular this summer.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The sheer fact that it's there, and just for the sheer fact, for anybody listening, that's oh boy,
it's looking like the Sixers, and we still got a minute left, but no one's out, no one's behind me, so we can shortly talk about this. Sixers looking like they're going to win 104-98 over the Celtics with 20 seconds left. What an upset, I have to say.
Woo-wee.
105-98 now. That's as big of an upset. Wow.
I did not see that one coming. Unbelievable. Well, I'll give the Sixers a lot of credit.
No.
Man.
And if you're the Knicks, you got to be pretty happy about this. You're going to get game 1 and game 2 at Madison Square Garden, home court advantage. But congratulations to the Sixers. That's as good of a comeback as I've ever seen, I have to say.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. That's really great to see.
So in conclusion, this is obviously our final, my final show of the semester. It's been a lot of fun this year. This is the second year I've done High Stakes. And this is obviously the first semester that we had cameras and all that. I'm not on the camera right now. I don't know why, but it is what it is.
Yeah, me on the camera right now.
Yeah, I can John on the camera.
Let's see. We gotta wait a little bit.
Yeah,
we'll switch at some point. I'm pretty sure. You're the host
hopefully
anyway.
I'll switch.
I'm looking.
Yeah, who cares?
There we go.
There we go.
We got it.
It's just, it's been a lot of fun. Look forward to doing it next semester. I don't know the time just yet, but it'll be sometime next semester. It'll be, I'm sure all the shows will be on the social media accounts for the Bronx. So if you want, you can see me, see where I am next semester. Excited for it. A lot of fun this year. This year is in the books, my sophomore year. So we've got 2 years remaining. Can't wait for it. And, for the final time here in this 2025-26 school year, thank you for listening to High Stakes. We'll be back next semester. Stay tuned for more of the biggest hits and best variety on the Princeton Review's 18th ranked best college radio station, 3-time 2026 IBS Media Award winner, and 5-time NAB Marconi Radio Award nominee for College Radio Station of the Year, 107.7 The Bronx.
From Rider University, 107.7 The Bronx, WRRC-FM.